The story begins with the introduction of a hero sitting on the shore of a lake. A curly-haired boy named Brackham is digging in the sand with a spoon. The hero's mother calls out to him and asks him not to eat anything so as not to get poisoned. After the directions, the boy returns to the house, which stands on the shore of the lake. While his mother was waiting for him in the room, the boy brushes his teeth, but does not listen to his mother's instruction. He eats the bucket. It turns out that the mother saw everything that was going on, but only kept silent. Brackham went to bed, but the mother remained motionless. Moments later, she only picked up a pillow and proceeded to strangle her own son. The boy resisted, but the woman was stronger. After what she had done, the mother went to the restroom, where she twisted her son's bucket with her foot. Taking the phone, she dialed someone's number, where she introduced herself as Jonah. She asked that Lang be given a small message. The woman offers to pick up what she calls her son. The mother gives the address of the house, but warns that only the boy is in the building. After dropping the call, she tosses the phone aside and begins to grieve. It quickly became dark outside, and an unfamiliar man appeared outside the house. Entering the room where the boy's lifeless body lay, he sat down next to him. The man took the pillow away from Brackham's face and began to cry. He wondered why this had happened. A girl came into the room and walked over to the bed. She began to wake the man, named Saul Tenser. Through sleep, the boy asked who it was, to which the girl introduced herself as Caprice. On the guy's arms, there were roots glued, and the bed itself looked rather strange. Saul introduces new software, which doesn't work well, because it doesn't warn about painful sensations. Caprice said she was concerned about Saul's insomnia and planned to call the hospital. The woman admitted that they found a new hormone in her blood tests. Saul thought his strength was going out of his system, but the girl tries to calm him down. Caprice says that his hypotheses are wrong, and the probability of death is very low. The man gets up from a huge swing to get his ultrasound Saul TS. Caprice presents the guy with a new organ that will soon find itself in his body. Saul is very disappointed, because the machine didn't strike him, but the girl changes his mind. She asks if the man feels pain. The expert learns that the pain is felt a little differently, which worries the woman. Saul tries to find out how the girl's work is going, but she quickly walks away from the questions. Finished with that, Caprice leaves for the kitchen to get a little snack. At this time, Saul is eating in an unusual chair that looks like a small skeleton. The guy changes into a black, covered suit, and together with Caprice, they leave the building. They enter the science center, where they visit the National Organ Registry. The girl introduces herself, and they enter a room. The characters meet a man named Whippet and his assistant, Timlin. The human body is constantly evolving, forcing scientific experts to invent new kinds of organs and tissues. Timlin introduces the guys to the right information on organ registration. Whippet admits that the world is becoming a more dangerous place, because after the disappearance of pain, people do not feel better. Only a lucky few feel pain while they sleep. The new mania for public surgery is becoming repulsive to Saul. Timlin's assistant wonders what connects Saul and Caprice, for she suspects something strange. The girl confesses that she removed Saul's tumors, for she has permission to perform the surgery. The couple met when the girl was working as an aviation surgeon and decided to change careers. Then she researched what scientific experts were doing and decided to create performances. The assistant registered the organ, and positioned Saul on the surgical table. Whippet and Timlin, looking at the man's new organ, which greatly shocked the experts. At registration, the man said that the registry works to patent in history the invention of new body functions. Caprice recorded all the conversations on a camera hidden in the girl's ring. Timlin's assistant notices this, but forbids any filming. Saul and Caprice return home, where they discuss what happened. The girl does not trust the experts at all, as Timlin is behaving very strangely. Caprice says she needs to examine Saul's bed, for she senses something is amiss. The man is worried about the tattoo he has to get. He discusses the strange plans of the parasite, who occupies the place, only to a certain extent. Caprice sprinkles the guy with some rest so he can examine him later. Later, several of the girls try to get the Saul technique right. The orchid bed is beautifully made, but the breakfast chair needs adjustment. They are surprised by the presence of a sarcophagus in the man's body. In the covered sarcophagus, Caprice performs Saul's autopsy, where reporters recorded video. Caprice attaches a bug-shaped device to his body to assist in directing the autopsy. The man's body is stitched up again, after which a team of journalists holds a celebration. The organ stands on a table, near which Saul and Caprice are resting. One of the expert girls inquires about the man's sexual attraction during his autopsy. She confesses that when she saw this picture, the girl could not conceal her immense desire. Saul decides not to tell Caprice these revelations, and to ignore the questions. The girls introduce themselves as experts of a team that specializes in manipulation and simulation of the suffering of the body. They are shocked by the artist's suffering, and want to study the processes more deeply. The team's new boss summons Timlin and Whippet to talk. The experts present the personal philosophical significance seen by the artist Saul. Timlin tries to defend the experts, and explains that the operations performed are only art. They show an album that clearly shows the artist's tattoos, with which the guy covered his tumors. The experts leave, and lastly, offer to have the man's tumor examined. In the evening, Caprice learns that Saul is working on a new project. The tumors have begun to develop at shorter intervals, which worries the girl. The bad news does not stop the guy, for he continues to create and develop new projects. After making sure that his body was recovering normally, Saul continued his work. His new project was to stitch thousands of ears all over his body. The ears give the body a large stream of sound, which the artist monitors. At this time, the guy meets a girl named Adrienne. The woman adjusts the process a bit, because she is a scientific representative. She invites Saul to the office of Dr. Pasotif, who understands inner beauty. On the way home, the artist is set up by Lang to propose a new idea for the show. His strangled son continues only lying at home. The boy's body, it is proposed to dissect, for the sarcophagus was originally prepared for such purposes. All of the man's frantic suggestions, Saul ignores, and goes home. Over dinner, the girl colors about further developments in the show. The guy talks about tonight's suggestions, but worries that the dead body might behave differently. The undressed girl lies in a sarcophagus, and prepares for an autopsy. Saul now controls the beetle, but a moment later, Caprice's body excites the man, and they find themselves in the sarcophagus together. Their bodies are cut open by mechanisms in turn, after which the girl receives an offer to participate in the project. The expert tests the sarcophagus, marveling at the technique of use. The naked girls cower in a small sarcophagus, over which Caprice observes. Saul goes up to the upper floors of the apartment building, where Dr. Pasotif is waiting for him. He asks the guy to take off his costume, but the artist refuses. The doctor convinces him to do so in order to name access to the body. Pasotif turns out to be a mechanic who recruits new people to participate in an inner beauty project. Saul meets Caprice in the passage, and they talk about the experts' use of the sarcophagus. The artist shows the new functionality that has turned out to be under his belly's zipper. Caprice repeats that the zipper seems very sexy, and licks the opening. Saul decides to meet the girl who killed her son. She makes absolutely no attempt to defend her actions, for she does not consider her son to be a normal being. His body could digest plastic, and white saliva that resembled acid was pouring from his mouth. The police don't believe the murder stories, so they don't think the girl is guilty. She admits that she left the body of the monster to her ex-husband, before their separation. Lang's production facility was advancing at a breakneck pace. The bars were generating good profits that increased production capacity. Lang admits that he is going to perform a grand autopsy on his son's body so he can get on television. In the following shots, we see the public incision of the heroine's face, and after the incisions of her legs. After the operation, Caprice approaches the girl to inquire about her well-being. It turns out that she doesn't like pretty, model faces, and specifically dreamed of having a bloody face. The girl loves injuries, because she thinks they only beautify. After this conversation, Caprice comes to Saul A with a request to have her face ruined. A blue hump forms on the girl's forehead, with a cut seam. The guy notices that the girl is no longer embarrassed by the opinions of the people around her. He admits that he feels a strange growth inside his body, but doesn't want to deal with it until the next episode of the show. Whippet suggests that Saul enter an inner beauty contest. The guys go up to an abandoned building, with a bunch of unknown papers, to arrange a casting call. Whippet convinces him that Saul has every chance of winning his nomination. The guy agrees to participate, after which the assistant invites the artist into the office. Timlin gets closer to the guy, which scares him off. The assistant tries to reassure the artist, and make him believe in the fictional world of the registry. With all her appearance, the girl tries to excite our hero, and to pin the poor man to the wall. She strongly requests that Saul take the girl into a show for dismemberment. He thinks it will get a lot of TV attention, but later agrees. The girl finds a button in Saul's mouth and immobilizes his jaw. Timlin tries to kiss the man, but he refuses to have sex. We are transported to the apartment of a long-known, rabid pastry chef who keeps his son's corpse in the refrigerator. It sounds strange enough, considering the fact that he's going to get rich and popular at the expense of his son's life. Saul initially offers to carry out a routine dismemberment, but this offer is rejected. The man wants to involve his wife, who killed his own son, caused a scandal. The expert and the artist emphasize the fact that the girl is also concerned about the boy's gastrointestinal tract, whose mucus could burn through even human skin coverings. These words are ignored by Lang, for he is determined to pursue his greatest project. The man is about to treat his guests to his bars, but they refuse. They reconnect with the black man, who motivates them to deal with the bandit crew sooner rather than later. It turns out that the purple bars are created from plastic, which has been poisoned by several agents of the companies. The problem becomes that synthetic plastics cause the average person to die, but Lang's group is constantly eating the bars. The girl mechanics come to Saul's house again, for they have received a signal from the skeleton chair. The doors are opened by an unfamiliar character, who only denies any signals. At this time, our team gathers to discuss working points. They learn that synthetic food is the future. Now Lang's team can't eat regular food, and only plastic bars are good enough for them. Brackum was his father's creation, something Jenny didn't even realize. Dissolving plastic is a genetically modified organism function by which Brackum could exist. Now the whole situation falls into place. Lang didn't have time to show his virtues to the world before strangling the boy, but now he has that opportunity. Of course, they agree to run the show. Journalists gather for a huge show, where everyone expects to see only an empty, dead body. Little Brackum died at the hands of his own mother, who couldn't get used to her son's oddities. With the help of a toad, Saul controls the dissection of the dead boy's flesh. All of the organs are described, but this autopsy gives no meaning, and no genetic clue. Saul removes the organs while Lang, shocked by what he sees, goes off to grieve on the stairs. Behind him, two girls come down, trying to give the guy a little support. Moments later, they smash Lang's head with screwdrivers, and the man dies, having lost a lot of blood. After the man's death, Saul tries to find out why he was killed. No one had any idea who the man's killer was. At night, Caprice is awakened by Saul's screams. The poor man dreams of the dead boy and all the experiments presented. Caprice tries to calm him down, and bring him to his senses a little. The ordeal brings our heroes closer together, which gives a kick to tender kisses. The man tries to eat a little on the skeletal chair, but he gets abruptly worse. Caprice also approaches to try the candy bar, but nothing happens. Saul dies, and the moment of death remains captured on camera from the girl's ring.